Oh, sounds great.
All right, hello. What's going on, everyone? My name is Benteezy. I'm going to be running Timespinner any percent no restriction. My commentators for today are my good friends Lanxion and Risky. If you guys want to say what's up.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yo.
We're actually going to start from this load screen section, so time will begin when I select normal mode. Are we all good to go?
I know I'm ready. I'm
I
pumped.
take the silence as a yes. So the time will be. I'll count us down here. 3, 2, 1, start. So Timespinner has a lot going on at the start, so if you guys want to kind of explain what I'm doing here.
So this is the good stuff. So what you're gonna see Ben is like doing, if you've ever seen any castle in the game at all, is Ben is doing some sick backdash tech. That's actually dubbed risky dashing. Someone in this chat right here figured that stuff out. You want to explain that stuff to us, Ben?
Yeah, so risky dashing in this game is you have a backdash, you have a melee attack, which is that little orb attack is doing, and then you have a magic attack as well, which he just shot and killed those guys with. But melee movement tech is you're gonna turn and backdash immediately, and then you're gonna jump and attack on the same frame. If you do that correctly, you're going to carry something and it's going to have a backdash into the air. And we do that everywhere. And you can carry it all the way through the air if you just continuously attack, which you'll see later.
It's actually pretty tight. I mean, and it makes that entire section pretty difficult because Ben has to manage doing that also while managing his mana that he's using to shoot those abilities. This entire route is perfectly planned to get exactly, as much experience as we possibly need to do different damage thresholds on the bosses. So right now you're actually watching Ben do one of the coolest mechanics in this game. Is you get the time wheel, which allows him to stop time, which allows him to kind of make use plenty of enemies as platforms, jump over stuff, kind of get them so they don't jump in your way and stuff like that. So it's gonna be like, we're gonna be abusing that a lot during the entire run. Ben is like, it may looks like Ben is like losing time here, but he's actually killing very specific enemies to make sure that we get a level up before we fight the first boss in the game, so we can fight a lot faster.
Yeah, like Glenn said, we're going to be playing more experience starting the whole run, and we should all up right here. And the boss is 2 screens away, so you routed that very well. And this boss is the major recent point of the run, well, the first one anyway. It has 4 attacks, 2 of which are pretty good. It's the attack that you want to see it do all the time. That's like the best. So something pretty good energy. As long as it doesn't walk out, switch it just in. This is the most attack it can do. It's gonna walk, and then it's gonna jump into the air. And it's just a bunch of waste of time, unfortunately. I'm just trying to time stop to get some extra hits in. You just can't really do anything about it. That's a good fight though, regardless of the RNG.
Yeah, it was a really good fight. I mean, you watch Ben get really, really nice and close. If you're allowed to get double hits with your orb weapons throughout the entire games when you're fighting enemies, so you're gonna see Ben get really nice and cozy with some of these. And now Ben's gonna do, I think, he's gonna go for these waterways. Actually, one of the sickest movement techs in the entire game. You have to use very precise time stop and risky jumping, dashing to get through this time platform stage.
And from the boss, actually, kind of skimmed over this, you got a second orb, a blade orb, and we're not going to be using that until pretty much the end of the run, but instead of this little blue circle orb, you just have a big sword. And there's a lot of different orbs in the game, casually. I think we only use 2, right?
Yeah, we only use the blue orb for most of the game, and then the sword orb for when another enemy is weak to it. So other than that, just this. We actually, when we routed this game, we used the iron hammer for a little bit, I think, but we quickly routed that crap out.
So here at the shop, we need to buy the ring, which we're going to be using in combination with a couple other things to craft an item. We'll explain when we craft it. And then we're going to security key code, so this is just open a gate later on. And we're going to go to the top and open a few chests here. We're going to get something called the Scythe Ring and the Colossal Blade. And the Scythe Ring is something that just goes on our orbs and just makes them do slightly more damage. That wasn't a big deal. Colossal Blade is a type of magic that is just a giant sword that covers the whole screen and kills pretty much any normal enemy, and we'll be using that throughout the entire run.
Yeah, so Ben is going to go into kind of a long walking segment here. So he's going to use this to kind of equip the stuff. But we kind of went over the fact that that Ben didn't start from exactly a new game. He started from a pre-coded game called a speedrun mode, which the devs were just like helped us out by adding to the game. What the speedrun mode did was allow all the best possible drops on all enemies to kind of smooth out the RNG, because prior to that, this run was an RNG nightmare when it comes to equipment, and we'll point out where that kind of affects the run when it comes up.
And we're going to avoid these little gargoyle Roomba guys. I'm just going to try and move through these rooms as efficiently as possible, right? Just unlocking a couple doors by grabbing key cards. We're going to be trying to manage our mana, our sand, which is in the top left. It's like what we use to actually stop time. You can't just do it as much as you want. It is a resource, but you can refill it by destroying basically any object in the background, and it will always drop you sand if you're not at full sand.
Yeah, and like we had mentioned before, like any enemy that Ben kills or goes over, it's all kind of planned. You can get certain experience runs throughout the entire game, but like each runner kind of adds his own little piece to it depending on what he wants to kill. But a lot of it's pretty equal. But he has to get a level up by the next boss.
That huge sword is Colossal Blade. That wasn't obvious, and as you can see, it just killed everything on the screen. It was definitely my favorite thing casually in the game. I used it the entire time. And there's like, I don't know, like 10 different types of magic or something, but it's just so fun.
Yeah, well, the massive sword is the best possible. I actually really like the game that your weapons are orbs and not really like your standard like swords or axes or crap like that. It's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, they have unique effects. And the blue orb, the starting one, the reason I use it through basically the whole run, we mentioned double hits earlier, but this orb, if you hit them on the first frame that it's out, you can hit them twice with it. So we'll be hugging like all the enemies, like we said, with it, and trying to get double hits. Which we'll be noticing is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, and Ben just is popping over here. He's grabbing items. These memories that he's getting are giving him cash to buy things later for our crafting. He's grabbing a piece to craft that ring we talked about earlier, and he also watched them dip into that room and just come back out. That's just a save point, or more of a teleport point that we're going to get for later to kind of save us a lot of backtracking later in the game.
Alright. This boss is probably the hardest to do optimally in the game, but the basic gist of it is we're going to stand still and the boss is going to kind of float towards us, and we're going to jump away and hit it, and it's going to float next to the middle, and then we're going to stand just to float again in a specific way. We'll just repeat that over and over.
Yeah, I was saying, there are some small minor optimizations you can make by if you can stand right on the edge of that platform. It's a 2-frame window to still get hits on burned off, but it's only very, very slightly faster and a lot more difficult to do. Getting a kill before that first charge is actually a pretty good fight, so really solid.
Yeah, you know, it's a good fight that the boss doesn't do the attack it was about to do there, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, I could chime in real quick. The rule I gave myself for this marathon was if I used my consumable heals, then I would have to start safety saving before every boss. So if you guys see me use my potion or my sun, remind me to save before the later bosses.
Sounds good.
Just because I probably have to heal on Azure Queen. I've been messing it up lately.
Yeah, it's Yeah, what Ben's talking about, during the run we use a lot of really dangerous damage boost strats, especially when it comes to bosses. And the next one he's talking about is the Azure Queen, so like that's, sometimes we use a heal just to kind of make that a lot safer, but it means the rest of the run gets a little less safe, so you kind of use it where needed, essentially, in the run.
Yeah, and the next boss we do like a very highly damage boost strat, so if you get hit twice, basically doesn't work. And here, we are now get sent to another time period. I don't know if it's the past or...
It's the past, risky.
We get sent to the past. Seriously, like, I can never keep track of where you are in this game if you're in the past to the present, because that's a major theme of the game, is going back in time.
And major lore master, Risky CV.
Yeah, changing the past and then seeing how it affects the present, and like going through the game by doing both.
All right, so what we kind of glossed over is that he just did two things. One, he crafted the Belief Ring, which is actually a huge point of damage and a huge find early in the game. What it does is that as you continually do more damage to the enemy, it scales your damage up to a certain point, but you also take more damage as a result. So it makes the run a lot riskier, but you do a ton more damage.
Yeah, it's straight up doubles your damage and doubles the damage you take.
And then also, so as part of that thing I mentioned with the speedrun mode, is that he was able to pick up a pointy hat from one of that chests. That is the rare drop off that chest that always drops on speedrun mode, whereas it used to be like weird items and stuff like that. So he got a power boost from grabbing that pointy hat.
Yeah, it was like a 5% drop rate or something out of the chest. Normally.
We used to have to line up 4 or 5 of those 5% drop rates, and it was pretty miserable. Shout outs to Bodhi for putting good stuff into the game for us.
Yeah, it was basically like just unrunnable. It felt like before speedrun mode, since it was legitimately needed like 6 items with 5% or less drop rate each, all in the same run. So yeah. Anyway, we're just cruising through, time stopping through certain rooms to get over enemies, and just trying to have some efficient movement here.
Yeah, jumping through these rooms and these little water spots with the time stop is actually quite difficult. It takes kind of a long time to learn when you're doing the risky dashing. So, like, Ben's actually making this look really slick, and it's actually one of my favorite parts of the run.
And here we equip the Bleak Ring, and we're gonna head down for the rest of the run. And this boss here, the strategy, you just run up to the front of it, and you want to stand in a certain spot where you're getting double hits, but this doesn't float for like chicken wing into you. And you're just going to DPS the boss until it gets to halfway, doing this chain attack, and you're going to see Ben get hit.
That's not safety saving.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
This is...
There you go.
Wait,
It's
I can
not
actually...
going according to plan.
Alright,
Okay,
well,
so-
that's actually better, because I'd rather have my consumables for later. And the save is literally right here.
Yeah, so you got kind of unlucky. Generally, he doesn't do a 2 boom attacks right in a row there. He'll do like, so like you see those little push to the wall piece there? Because you're so close, it won't push you back, but him doing those double boom attacks is actually quite rare.
There we go. And I quickly dodged the first 2 attacks there. That's how you want to do it. And now you get hit, and then you pause time so the boss's hitbox isn't active. You have to get hit so you can go through the boss initially. And you get to the other side, and once you hit the boss during this chain attack, and the boss doesn't do anything to you. Oh.
That was one hit.
Yeah. So generally, if you get a really tight fight there with good time stops in the back hit there, you can get him before he like unceremoniously like yeets you across the late stage.
Yeah, that was scary because you're supposed to kill him right before then, and then it's really good that you survived that.
Luckily, I have like almost all the damage tables from all the enemies, even at max bleak memorized, so I always know like there's not a health bar, it's a health number at the top, so I always know like exactly whether I'm gonna die or not, and whether I have to use the items.
Yeah, and that's also part of the reason why we're like all the stuff he's killing is he's getting levels up in the correct intervals to make sure the amount of damage you're doing is at a right interval, the amount of damage you're taking is at a right interval, so it's all pretty planned out.
Yeah, it's nice that items that we get that make us deal a lot more damage also just happen to give us a bunch of defense too. And it makes us pretty tanky by the end of the run.
Yeah, So right now, I mean, you're seeing that once we beat the Alana, we get the Twin Pyramid Key, which lets us teleport to any midway room. And so he's kind of using the midway room that we kind of grabbed earlier to get himself to the right. Now he's going to go to the castle. He's in the past. He's going to go kill some... he's going to go fight the princess of this land she's the queen of this land for some reason. As you can tell, a lot of us did the running and not a lot of the lore of the game.
Definitely speedrunning the lore as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I can kind of interject here just to kind of like point out what the difference between any percent is and true ending. So there's actually a boss that rolls the credits that you can get to by defeating the 3 bosses in the past, and then going up his castle, and that's the boss we're trying to beat. There's another boss that if you go through, do like most of the game's side quests, and then like you basically fix this whole time travel thing from happening ever again. That's not the boss we're beating in this category. So we're just in the past right now, beating the 3 bosses that we need to be able to climb the castle, and Queen Alana happens to be one of those bosses.
Yeah, it's actually this game actually does have a really nice soundtrack and a really cool story. Once you get into it, I think all of us our first playthrough was years ago. So
yeah.
All right, now
it's a lot of just moving to the right, honestly, and like optimizing your movement. And I lost my train of thought. Okay.
That's okay. So right now, I mean,
Everyone
this is
does
called
in this section.
Yeah, this is a tough section. So this is called the no restrictions category. Right now, we haven't really seen any glitchy things right now, but you can do some kind of messed up stuff with the time stopping, and that we're going to see later, kind of towards the end of the run, is where the major shifts are going to happen. Right now, we're killing the bosses as normal because you need to kill the first 3 bosses of the game to get yourself past the barrier that is unskippable. And right now you're seeing Ben kill these 2 advisors. 1 for the advisor's robe, that was one of the 5% drops we mentioned, and 2, they're an incredible source of experience. So they're going to get us our next level right before we fight the next boss, which is actually probably, I think, the last real level up we're going to really need for the game.
You want a safety save?
Oh, sure. Actually, that's a good idea.
And did you equip
Oh, wait, no,
robe?
you tricked me. I still have my items. Because I died. So I did equip the robe, yeah.
Those quick menus.
My bad.
Sorry.
Okay, so this boss, you see these like 2 folding twins. You just DPS them, and when the real boss shows up, and this is called Idol. It's this big statue. You bait it to do this slam attack, and then pretty much you're just gonna DPS the boss until it does this saw attack. You evade it, and you can just DPS the boss some more. And when you see this, the weird chaos above his head, that means your sand is getting driven continuously. So you just want to stop time right now because you got hit by the boss.
Yeah, and where Ben is standing on this one, it's a pretty solid fight. So a couple hits that you didn't want to take, but where Ben was standing was actually really difficult to get the double hits on him because of just like his hitbox is real janky looking. So killing the golden idol gives you the double jump ability, kind of unlocks the rest of the castle here. So we're going to be able to actually use risky dashing with the double jump to get really long jumps out of the way to get some really good speed going. So
classic double jump, Metroidvania style, and it looks really cool too. You'll see the animation in this room coming up. We'll pirouette.
A little tongue-tied with my fingers there.
Yeah, probably the worst feeling in this game when you're running it is when you just mess up 2 or 3 dashes in a row, and you're just in the same place you were like 4 seconds ago, just dashing backwards and running forwards over and over.
it's just it is brutal. Like, but also like I cannot stress how difficult it is to do the risky dashing stuff throughout the entire run. It is so taxing on the hands sometimes.
I don't walk.
I'm wondering what was going on.
I always got that menu mixed up with the first menu.
Yeah,
The
so
wrong one.
I think it's the last purchase of the game. He's grabbing a couple warp shards to make it a little faster, a little easier to get yourself there. round.
The ice skip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic ice
Pretty
skip.
self-explanatory there. You freeze some ice, jump on it, and it's a skip going around. It's pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
it's like a 40-second time save because there's a lot of garbage movement up towards the right side of that tower.
And here we get 2 Chaos Stones, which are 2% drop rate normally.
Yeah,
And-
we're pretty beefed up right now.
Yeah, that's like pretty much the best item in the game. We get 2 of them. Wonderful.
And now we're gonna go fight Alana. Now you can do. This fight is very difficult with the blue ward, especially to get your double hits on.
Yeah, this is like one of the hardest. I think this and the Eyeball are the 2 hardest fights basically, and you have to stay really close to the boss to get the doubles and keep your stacks up of the blue green because they fall off over time. You build up the stacks as you hit the boss. And it just rotates through attacks, so we're just trying to get as efficient damage as we can as she goes through them.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, that's like. So the thing about this is like Varngoth is really difficult to. The eyeball is really difficult to fight because it's like you're losing time. Alana can kill you in a couple hits with the bleak ring fully stacked, so you just got to be very, very careful with her. So it's really difficult. I actually use the sword for this fight because it's easier, a little slower, but just because of how difficult it is to optimize this fight with the blue orb. So like Ben going full out from there down to the blue orb here is impressive.
Hopefully the safety save for this boss is actually faster anyway, because we take it so we can refill our magic before we enter. And dying doesn't really punish us in that way at least.
Yeah, because when you see Ben's using the Colossal sword up at the top there, because you can't get double hits consistently while she's up there, so it's faster DPS to use the sword.
With this lightning, and boss should
I don't know how she's
yeah.
alive still.
Yeah,
Soon dies, yeah. There you go. Okay, much better fight that time.
It kind of threw me off the pattern that she did the first time, because I expected her to go back into the air to do the lightning.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on how much damage you deal to her, she'll transition faster, and if you're not expecting it, you can throw off the whole fight. And now we warp shard and we are heading to the caves.
yeah,
Yeah, the Caves of Banishment is what they're called.
Yeah.
Lore Master Ben.
And here, this is where a lot of runs go to get banished because we have escape coming up that is like this is the run killer for sure.
Yeah, this is what takes 5 minutes over the 90% glitchless run, where you're supposed to get a water mask in this game or a gas mask rather to skip some of the some areas in the game where you just don't get that in this run because you're going to do a thing. We call it Maw skip, but you're not actually skipping Maw. It's skipping to Maw, which is the next boss.
Yeah, and the way this one works is we are going to manipulate the enemy to jump into a certain position, and then freeze time, and unfreeze. We're going to freeze time. He's going to push us into the floor, and you have to reset the run there if the guy attacks.
Yeah, so this is one of the few things that we've done. We've had it tasked out that like it's very difficult to do. You can even you can get the position correct and still get kind of voided out on the floor. So it's a little tricky, little finicky. So you can do everything right and still get screwed. So
Yeah, ugly. It's not too punishing to mess it up. You just walk over. The guy only does 6 damage to you per hit. You have plenty of attempts at it.
There we go.
There it is.
very nice. Yeah. So not only did you have to get the exact timing of the time stop, you have to get him on the right position on your head, and you have to be standing within like a 2 pixel or 3 pixel frame. So it's difficult.
So what that does is push you into the floor, and then you transition to the right, and then fall through the floor there, and you end up going below this elevator shaft, which normally you have to do a whole bunch of game for to be able to get through. It's an extremely difficult boss.
I'm gonna kill the tiles just to make sure I don't get hit again.
Yeah, this is a safe spot on the boss for some reason. You can just attack it. That's how we fight. It's a nice reward for boss skip.
Yeah, that is nice. So, because you use the time stop to, like, enemies don't hurt you, so you just, like, and smash them down.
Yeah, for some reason he'll push you out if you walk into that spot, but not if you are already there.
Yeah, so that skips an entire underground section. Now there's like no poison gas in the future for some reason.
There is, it's just out in the overworld, where we're not going.
Yeah, so right there was the thing is like once we did that, we had to kill Maw in order to get past that room right there. Now we're kind of like in the end game.
There's some cool movement in these rooms here, like, you know, those boulders like that. You can do some of these rooms really optimally in like a nice looking way. I think second to last thing there, which is lab glasses. Again, just more damage.
Gotta be real careful though. Everything in this dungeon, everything in this room probably hits you for about a sixth
Like
of your
60,
life. So
yeah,
it's a lot of damage going on here.
I'm messing up a lot of backdash.
Oh, so sweat. Oh.
That's not the easy part.
Yeah. What
Oh,
is
that's
this?
cool.
Getting the risky dash off like a half a platform there is impossible. So I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Like,
normally you're canceling it towards the end of the dash, so like having to switch up your timing and do it instantly there is definitely harder. And here, the big skip. Well, this isn't that big, but you just kind of jump into the ceiling there. So you can skip across this gap before I explain that out of bounds. Normally you're not supposed to get across that gap, you need a dash upgrade, which is in this area too. We just carry our momentum and get across it. In the other down skip, all we do is crouch and attack. Sorry, next to a crouching hitbox. And then it's just double jump into the ceiling for some reason.
yeah, so like the abusing that hitbox and like abusing the other trick we saw with the enemy earlier, the Wyvern earlier in the game, is a big on the new game plus mode. So that's like one of the major ways to skip around the outside of the map. But we're gonna go and fight Mom here, Genza, who is you saw Ben change to the Blade Orb because Genza is weak to the Blade Orb here. But the cool thing you're going to see him doing is he's going to be time stopping in the cooldown between your swings, so that he can get like maximum uptime on there, which is actually a really fun way to fight her.
You can see the numbers are red, the damage numbers. That just means the damage type you're doing, the enemy is weak to it. And there are type weaknesses in this game, just like Pokemon.
Just like Pokemon.
Just like Pokemon, that's what they're going for, I'm pretty sure.
Mom, I choose you, dude. Actually, that was a slick fight. Getting her dead before the triple spike is actually really sweet.
Oh yeah, I said the last skip, but maybe I meant last glitch. Because this is the last actual skip coming up here. And this one's Baby Go Skip. At least that's what I call it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I would definitely reset that too.
You get a like weird pattern with that guy.
And here we're going to manipulate this baby ghost all the way up here. And you want to stay behind it so it doesn't do that fireball attack you just saw it do twice. And that was perfectly done, straight up. Wow, that was really fast.
That was really sick, actually.
Yeah, it just skips us, kind of like the ice skip we did before. We just go right up this tower that normally you have to go around for.
Yeah, and what you like really don't understand is like how precise it was for him to manipulate the movement on that ghost. It was actually really tight, so that was really sick.
Alright. And this is Anubias.
The final boss. This is the boss that we're going to finish the run, so.
And this guy has set attack pattern. We're just trying to get maximum DPS while avoiding his attacks. Getting it rolls or twice and you'll die. You really want to avoid his attacks. Here we're gonna have the purple snake. You gotta aim to attack him away and then jump around. And here we just have some Orbeez.
You're meant to be a lot stronger when you're fighting this guy, so this is very dangerous.
Goes to the right. Are you meant to be stronger? But no.
You're meant to be much higher level.
We're so geared. Okay, I've got one more attack, and the boss should be dead, and then time will be like a few seconds after that when we choose an ending.
And time.
Nice run.
Oh, Roman, man, all your time.
It was like a really low 29, like 29-0 something.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, very nice. That's actually
Considering 2 deaths and a bunch of saves
Well-
saves.
you smashed all the hard stuff.
And then
Just
died
got,
to
like
these.
bodied by random easy shit.
But yeah, that's a time spent earning percent. I know that's a lot faster than the estimate, but I've actually reduced my PB by 6 minutes since this marathon got announced. So that was this
It's only been
run.
like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, I've played the game like maybe 10 out of the last 14 days. It's been a lot of fun. I know Risky's getting the itch again. A lot of other
Yeah.
people have started playing again. It's a great speedrun, especially with the speedrun mode. It's a great casual game, so if you haven't played the game before, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it's like what Ben won't say is that Ben was one of the original helped route this game, and his PB is so high because I'm pretty sure you played it when we didn't have speedrun mode.
Yes.
And now, yeah, and so now you've come back to the game after like doing the randomizer every bit, and like now playing this for the marathon. You dusted it off, and you just like killed your PB. And I know that you got more ahead of you, but
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop playing the game. I started playing again for this marathon, but I'm not gonna stop playing. It's been so much fun grinding it out and seeing how far I can push it and coming for the lengths cut. And
Do it.
I do want to, before we go, shout out the organizers of this event for reaching out to the Timespinner speedrun community and asking if anybody wanted to play the game for the marathon. So it's very nice of, I think it was the DM Panda that messaged me directly, and that was really nice of them. So
it's nice seeing Timespinner get a little love. It's a really fun game.
I hope the marathon raises a lot of money. I know they already shattered a bunch of their incentives and kind of blowing out the expected start of the marathon out of the water. So, keep showing them your support and your love. And yeah, it's going to be a good marathon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, Ben. See you.
Nice run.